Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is David and we are continuing our library tour of 2023. I am determined to get to the end of this before the end of the year. And with March almost being gone, we are 10 installments in now. And I'm only in the D's on the paperbacks. I still have trade paperbacks and hardcovers and then graphic novels to do after that. So that's how I have my books organized, and then I have them alphabetically by author. So we are into the D's here. Well, almost into the D's. We have one C to round us out on the paperbacks, and this is a Bernard Cornwell. The Archer's Tale. This is one of the Cornwells I own that I have not read yet. I intend to read. This is a spellbinding epic of duty, love, and valor forged in the fires of the 100 Years' War. So this right here would go extremely well with The Distant Mirror and the previously finished Essex Dogs from last month. Interesting. I might have to consider picking this up sooner than I had planned. Anyway, a brutal raid on the quiet coastal English village of Hookton in 1342 leaves but one survivor, a young archer named Thomas. On this terrible dawn, his purpose becomes clear: to recover a stolen sacred relic and pursue to the ends of the earth the murderous, black-clad knight bearing a blue and yellow standard. A journey that leads to the courageous rescue of a beautiful French woman and sets him on his ultimate quest, the search for the Holy Grail. Yeah, that's my kind of book right there. In lieu of it even being Bernard Cornwell. I'm looking just to see. So this is part of the Grail Quest series. It says Vagabond is one of the other ones. I don't know if it went beyond the two or not, but I will definitely be reading this. That is a keeper. Now we hit the trio of Dante. So we have a signet classic, The Inferno. This is translated by John Ciardi. If you don't know The Inferno, we'll just read the back and see what they have to say about it. Belonging in the immortal company of the works of Homer, Virgil, Milton, and Shakespeare, I would agree. Dante Alighieri's poetic masterpiece is a moving human drama, an unforgettable visionary journey through the infinite torment of hell, a supreme expression of the Middle Ages, a glorification of the ways of God, and a magnificent protest against the ways in which men have thwarted the divine plan. One of the few literary works that has enjoyed a fame both immediate and enduring, The Inferno remains powerful after nearly 7 centuries. It confronts the most universal values, good and evil, free will, and predestination, while remaining intensely personal and ferociously political, for it was born out of the anguish of a man who saw human life blighted by the injustice and corruption of his times. I've not read this particular translation, but this is phenomenal work. And this is where I can put my shout out. So also translated by John Ciardi. To Tom from LA Books, I will have the very first installment of his Divine Comedy trilogy. So he went canto by canto through all 3. So we had Purgatorio, Paradiso. He went through all 3. I have the same translator on all 3, even though this is a much older version. If you're reading The Inferno for the first time or for the 50th time, queuing up his playlist, reading the canto, and then watching his video is going to be incredibly rewarding and enriching, and I strongly recommend them. So next we have Avram Davidson, and this is Peregrine Primus. So a delightful and totally different fantasy is what it promises here. So let's see. Peregrine, the bastard son of the king of Sapodilla, which, as every schoolboy knows, was the last pagan kingdom in the world to resist Christianity. Peregrine, accompanied by his page and the rather time-worn sorcerer Appledore, sallies forth into the dark ages to find his fortune. What he finds instead is dragons, whores, Huns, Roman legions, emperors, and a most fantastic collection of mysteries and adventures. No matter what you've read before, you have never read anything like Peregrine Primus. That actually sounds pretty good to me. I'm definitely keeping this one. I wasn't so sure, and then I read the back, and yeah, that would definitely scratch an itch for me. So, going with Peregrine Primus, we have, I'm assuming, the following. Peregrine Secundus. So, the journey to the lighter side of the Dark Ages. I won't read the back because I don't want to spoil anything. But, yeah, we'll see how the two of those go. Maybe I'll be in for a delightful treat. So now we have One Against Time by Aston Del Martia, a mind-twisting hunt through the jungles of infinity. Harold Newman was a loser. He was a plodding bank clerk whose past was weary and whose future was dull. Until the moment when his mind was activated by a warp in time and he became a superbrain, a brilliant freak gifted with the power of 20 computers. Suddenly, Harold's future wasn't dull anymore. It was deadly. His very existence was a threat to the continuance of life on Earth. He knew too much. The world president issued an implacable order through the spiraling levels of space and time. Search the past. Find the superbrain and kill him. But do it now. Okay. Yeah. That one's a keeper. And now we get into the start of Gordon R. Dickson. I've got a lot of Dickson. I'm going to have, I already looked, 10. So my next 10 is all going to be Dickson. And then the last 2 are, or the first 2 on the following tour are also going to be Dickson. I've got 3 here. So his Dorsai series is what he's, I believe, most famous for. This one doesn't give me an impression in here, but these first ones are all part of the Dorsai series. So we've got Soldier Ask Not, we've got Lost Dorsai, and The Spirit of Dorsai. And none of them are the first book in the Dorsai series, which I believe is called The Child Cycle, which is a new addition to the Child Cycle. So let's see what it says in here. Does it give us... Probably not in this one. It's probably one of the other ones I've got on my shelf still here. Copyright 1979. I did try to put them in order. But I don't know what the order is. But I'm not going to read one of these because I'm almost positive this is not book 1 in the Dorsai series. So yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. I'd like to read the Dorsai series. Obviously, I've got a couple of them. I've got more to come. I think I've got even more when I get to the hardcovers, because I think I have 1 or 2 hardcover collections. But I'm almost certain that I don't have book 1. So I'll need to track that down. I might have to put in a call to Mr. Donahue and see if he's got an ebook copy of the first book or 2 that I'm missing to be able to pick up the Child Cycle. Not that I'm ready to read it anytime soon. I've got so many other great books I'm reading. And some not so great books. I'm very, very happy to be 10 pages to the end of the Le Guin short story collection. It's just been eh. Even the ones who walk away from Momelas, it was just eh. Not the story I really was looking for. Really great thought piece, but yeah. Not much for a story. I like the blending of the two together. Anyway, there we go. Before I get off on more tangents. There's that collection. I'm going to relax, read some more Return of the King, do some Old English translation, and then if time still allows, after all that's done, I may be back to record my thoughts on the first 5 chapters of Book 6 of Return of the King. We'll catch you later. Thank you, BookTube.